secrets of subtle energies. Tomorrow is the initiation. She will be led to meet Helios, the very great god Ra, whose greatness none of the mortals can perceive. She will see him tomorrow, and the higher druids will offer her to him as a bride. The higher druids have their own plans. Offering her as a bride, they expect Helios to accept her, and they will have an intermediary between themselves and him, for the loving husband always trusts his secrets to his beloved wife. And they want to perceive and understand the energy of Helios. They want to learn to control it and use it for their own purposes. She cannot sleep tonight. She has to concentrate on the coming ceremony, remember what she has been taught, purifying her consciousness and soul. Her education started from the very moment when she was brought to the teacher, the secret druid of Helios. He was very kind, but from the very beginning he taught her to restrain her wishes and be satisfied with what she was given, though there was always something to do for her, so it was not boring. The teacher taught her to see and hear the surrounding and inner worlds and feel. He taught her to feel herself, her body, to feel the process of growing and the energy flowing in it. She also learned to feel the energy of life in the plants and animals. The temple olive tree would always give her nice feelings when she hugged it for the trunk. She felt the sap flowing up the trunk. The sacred animals, serpents and felines living at the temple, felt and understood her very well. They loved and obeyed her, and she felt what they were thinking or intended to do. Sometimes she would ask them about something, and they would always gladly fulfill her request. That was the harmony of interaction taught to her by the teacher. And a bit later, he showed her different stones, which rich Egyptians usually wore as their jewelry, and taught her to feel their properties. He presented her several of such stones, and she would take them at times depending on what she wanted to achieve, to warm a bit when she was cold, or get cooler in the heat, to fall quickly asleep, or vice versa, shake away the drowsy state. He taught her to eat in a special way, getting the energy of life from her food. He taught her to feel earth with her feet, interact with water when drinking or having a bath, and feel the energy of air, which he called ether. But the most important thing was to learn to interact with the energy of fire, for Helios is the father of the fire. Together with the teacher, she would long be watching the fire at different times of the day, trying to feel its energy. And she understood that the energy of the fire can be different, just as the energy of the sun. It is of one quality at the sunrise, another at the highest point, and still different at the sunset. The teacher taught her to come into the state of harmony and talk with the fire and the sun. Then he taught her to talk with the moon, which was influencing the water. He presented her also one golden and one silver nuggets, and told her the secret that gold preserves the energy of the sun and the fire, and silver preserves the energy of the moon and the water. The teacher knew a lot. He knew what others were ignorant of. That is why he was chosen to educate and prepare the bride for Ra, so that they could become relatives with him and know his secrets. Though the teacher taught her also one more very important aspect: silence. Silence in humble service, ability to listen and keep secrets. He taught her, so that other druids didn't know, that the wife has to be devoted to her husband, never betraying him in anything. She has to belong to him alone. And tomorrow the sun will know her. Not the usual sun which she was used to see every day, but Helios, the very god Ra. The quiet steps brought the teacher to her. The dawn is coming. Let's go, child. Several druidesses led her to the sacred bathing room in order to wash her body before the dawn. Now, clean and in the new toga, all embroidered with bright threads, together with the teacher, she went upstairs on the special terrace where they usually greeted the rising sun. The dawn is very special today. The air is as if a bit more transparent and the silence is deeper, and it is unusual that today only they two, she and her teacher, are meeting the rising sun. The others are forbidden here today. She has lived the full gamut of the changes of light and transparency and thinness of the air, and saw the sun different than usual, and their talk was different today. The teacher kept silent. These two have a serious talk, and he is just an accompanying person here. Then she was brought to the bathing room again, where after the second bath her body was rubbed with herbs and oils. Now she was dressed in the bright red, the color of the setting sun cloak with the golden collar. Her eyes were bound with a thick black bandage. The four assistants brought the carriage to take her to the special room in the higher part of the sacred pyramid of Ra. There she will have to wait till the evening when the ceremony will start. Several druids of higher ranks gathered in the hall. They surrounded the throne on which the bride of Ra was sitting, and were singing monotonously one note. They sang it, making no pauses and filling the air with the vibrations of their voices. The hall was gradually filled with the reverberation of the sound, and she began to feel the vibration of ether. Her eyes were closed. She only followed the movements of those surrounding her with her feelings, listening to their singing. The teacher, whom she recognized even with her eyes closed, approached her and put something on her head. She saw herself from a side, as he had taught her. The crown she had on her head was from the golden rails, and in the center in front there was a big red ruby. The strain was getting stronger in her. The singing grew louder and thicker. The teacher took off the bandage, and she saw the hall filled with the bloody red light of the coming evening. There, far beyond the pyramid, the sun was going home. The teacher took her by the hand and led on the balcony. The bloody disk of the setting sun sent the light beam to the ruby, and she felt something sharp pierce her deep in the head, through the center between the brows, as if the sun was there, in the center of her head, and not only was, but was calling her, guiding her to follow it, until the setting disk hid behind the horizon, covering everything with a bloody fire glow. Warm teacher's fingers touched her hand. "Let's go." So she went, obediently, not understanding, even not trying to understand where she was led. through the druids giving them way, through the halls to the carriage in which further soft waves were raising up and swinging down, and in her head there lived the memory of the sun's beam, sweet and painful. So here he is, Helios, the great god Ra. They say he can turn to ashes anyone he dislikes. One more night in meditation, and after it, another meeting with Helios. Already at the dawn, and again the link through his beam, only slightly felt with the first rays, but more and more piercing to the noon. The druids were singing, but she didn't hear them anymore. And watching her eyes, they understood that now she belonged to Helios, the great god Ra.